Manchester United away from home, Stamford Bridge, massive game up now. Really big for both clubs, looking to get into the Champions League again for next season. Now, there's been an upturn in form from Chelsea in recent weeks under new manager Tuchel. Since Frank Lampard's been sacked, they've been a lot better defensively and getting a lot more points. Manchester United have been a bit ropey since Tuchel's come in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and are still in the second position, but it is looking a bit hairy if Manchester United can maintain this push and finish second in the league. With some difficult games coming up on the horizon in the Premier League for Manchester United, this is a must not lose game for sure, and we've got to go out there with the intent to win this game to get into that top four. And I think if Manchester United could get a result in this, a positive result, a win, then it would put Manchester United in with a very good chance of securing at least a Champions League spot this season, and maybe even a second place finish in the league. Now, as I say, Chelsea have been a lot better in recent weeks since Frank Lampard got the sack, and I've noticed that defensively they have been so much better. Under Frank Lampard they were letting a shitload of goals in. He has brought Rudiger back into the defence and also taken out Chilwell and brought Alonso back in. So they've switched it up a bit in there. Up front they're still not scoring the amount of goals that they could be scoring. They don't really have that recognised number 9 that's putting the ball in the back of the net. They've used a few different options. They've got Timo Werner in there, who hasn't always played up in the number 9 position. They've got Giroud, who's probably the best number 9 that they've got at this moment in time, and Tammy Abraham, that's been in and out of the team and come off at half time in some games when he hasn't been at his best. But I think Giroud is their best number 9 and probably their main goal threat up front. Now, on the other hand, Manchester United, we've got a number of injury concerns to worry about going into this game. Now, this is bollocks for Manchester United's sense, but we knew the injuries were going to come at some point. We did, and it was how Manchester United were going to manage through the injuries, and they've come at probably the worst possible time. We've got some difficult games coming up. We've had Paul Pogba injured, which has really I think it's really affected Manchester United. And whereas I'm not trying to make any excuses for this, the Manchester United don't really have the options in the backup positions. Liverpool have had obviously the same problems this season, where they've struggled when the likes of Van Dijk have been out and they haven't really had the ready replacements to come in. Manchester City have a rich of options on the substitutes bench when they've had injury problems themselves, which they haven't had so many of late. They've been able to bring another top quality player into the starting lineup that is almost just as good, and Manchester United and Liverpool don't really have that strength in depth. And Manchester United, we have been fortunate this season that we haven't picked up any injuries. We really have. Even without the injuries, we're still miles off winning the title. So that is a real concern for Manchester United. No Paul Pogba again, no Scott McTominay, which is leaving the midfield threadbare. It really is. We do need another man probably in the midfield just for when we get any injuries. We've got no excuses there then to not be able to compete in certain games where we may have players missing. There's going to be no Cavani again for this game, which is a massive blow. But Van der Beek could return for this game, but he'll probably only be on the substitutes bench. He's been a complete bit part player for Manchester United this season. So how are Manchester United going to line up with a number of players that are not available, and we're going to probably have to have young players on the bench again for this game? I mean, he's going to bring David Hare back in, but I think Dean Henderson deserves to play in net for this one, but he's going to bring David Hare back in goal. Luke Shaw's going to come back in. It will be Wan-Bissaka as well, and it's going to be Lindelof and Maguire. We know that is going to be it. It's going to be Matic and Fred in midfield because we don't really have any other options. Bruno Fernandes will be further forward. Then the forward three is probably going to be Greenwood on the right, Martial up front, and Rashford on the left. The only other change from that front three I can see is James coming in on the right for Greenwood. If he's fit, that could be maybe an option, but besides that, there is no other option for Manchester United. We've got no Cavani there. There's no Juan Mata either that could come in. We are a bit limited in some of these positions, which is a bit worrying for Manchester United, but at this moment in time, this is what we've got to roll with. And the worry is that Greenwood and Martial have been really out of form, certainly in terms of their goal scoring. Has been really abysmal this season, and we really could do with someone stepping up to the mark in this game out of them two. We really could. Them two are so desperate for a fucking goal, it's unbelievable. But we just go again with what we've got. We get what we get, and we'll just see what happens. But not signing Jadon Sancho in the summer really did affect this forward line for me, because if we'd had a Jadon Sancho, well, even a Haaland, but that's by the by. But if we'd got that Jadon Sancho in the summer, who's absolutely smashing it for Dortmund, you could have then played him on the right. You'd have had other options, and you'd have had another option in Greenwood in the striking position, even though he hasn't hit the heights yet this season. But you would have had an extra option for when we did pick up these injuries, and it just isn't to be. But it is a disappointment. But we go again. We'll probably have the likes of Diallo and Shoretiri on the substitutes bench for this one. But I'm not confident that if Manchester United, if Dan James isn't even along the substitutes for tomorrow's game because he's got a twinge, then it is going to be a massive problem for Manchester United. But we just have to wait and see what happens there. But if Manchester United don't have Dan James along the substitutes bench for tomorrow, then Diallo and Shoretiri will be two of the next in line to come on, along probably with Van der Beek. So it's going to be a bit worrying for Manchester United if we do pick up any more injuries between now and the next few weeks, because I think we've got something like 7 games in 22 days, which is fucking a lot of games, and the squad's going to be really tested to the max in this time frame. So we will have to wait and see what happens there. But we just go with what we've got. I mean, if we've got to use a couple of youngsters, it's their chance to step up to the plate. But personally, I'm not too convinced on the likes of Shoretiri coming in and doing a job. I'm not too sure if he deserves to be coming into the Manchester United fold at this moment in time. I know a lot of people are praising him and it's nice to see that he got his debut in the Europa League and the youngest player to play in Europe for Manchester United, which is great. But I feel that we're just giving him minutes just for the sake of giving him minutes at the moment. I think he's done alright in the under-23s. He's scored some goals and done well, but the under-23s is a bit of a ropey league. It's not got the quality that you would like, and you're not tested. I mean, when they play in the Papa John's Trophy, it's a lot more competitive because you're playing against League 1, League 2 sides, which makes it a lot harder, and they found it a lot harder than the under-23s, some of them players that were playing in that Papa John's Trophy earlier in the season, to implement their form into that tournament, because it was so much harder. If you're playing League 1 and League 2 sides, you're getting a much sterner test than you are in the under-23s. But we will have to wait and see. But obviously this is going to be a really difficult game for Manchester United. I would expect it to be tight, probably 1 goal in it either way. I'm going to go for Manchester United drawing this game 1-1. I think it's going to be too difficult to go to Stamford Bridge. Although we've got a good record against Chelsea recently in the league and the cups, that Manchester United have got positive results most of the time against Chelsea recently. So I'm a bit confident there, but over the years Manchester United have had some fucking stinkers at Chelsea. But Chelsea are a resurgent side lately, and I think the likes of Giroud, Mason Mount's playing quite well, could cause Manchester United a lot of problems in this game. And with their defence being quite stern and difficult to break down recently, it could be difficult for Manchester United. We've got to hope that we keep it tight at the back, because if it's a job to break Chelsea down in this game, Manchester United can't afford to be shit at the back in this game. We really can't. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you see this game flowing? How do you see it going for Manchester United? Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you're watching this on Facebook, please do hit the share button, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.